Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 23 of the 72 review. As you can see, we have got a full house tonight. We've got the three regulars, myself, Punk Chef, and Ian Bradley, but we've got a couple of special guests on the screen as well. We've got Lee from Around the Grounds, and then we've got Jonathan Harries, MK Dons fan as well. So we'll go around the table, get some introductions done before we make a start. Usual format, we're going to go through all the leagues, try and pick up on the main talking points in League Two, Championship, and then League One. Big talking points in League One. So we're going to keep the positives until the end, I think. But yeah, we'll go through it, get your comments in. That normally drives the conversation. So we'll start with Punk Chef 41. Introduce yourself, let us know who you are and what you do.
Hello, I'm Punk Chef 41. I run a Sheffield Wednesday fan channel. Been doing it for a while now. Just enjoying doing content at the minute. It's been a really good one. And it's just one of those things that you see more content creators pop up, and it's good to keep the community fresh and see more other people take on things. So it's nice to see.
Definitely lovely stuff. Ian, introduce yourself. Let people who may not know you know who you are and what you do.
Hello, I'm Ian. I'm a 61-year-old Rotherham fan, been a Rotherham fan for 50 years, season ticket holder. But when the Millers are away, I go around the country vlogging for Over the Bar YouTube channel. So I've been to several grounds this season, and I quite enjoy doing it.
Best one so far, mate, this season?
Best one, probably Stockport.
Ooh.
This season. When I did their game, I really enjoyed that one.
Who was that against again?
It was against Sutton United. It was 3-0 Stockport win. It was back in November time.
Yeah, comprehensive victory there.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. We'll move around the table to Jonathan. You'll recognise Jonathan from last season. He was on the show fairly regularly. MK Dons fan. Let people know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, mate.
So my name's Jonathan, and I'm a MK Don season ticket holder for my sins. Following them for 7 or 8 years now through the highs and the lows, and yeah, I do this sort of thing from time to time. Do a few written articles, and yeah, just trying to get the message across, but that it's not all bad at MK Dons.
We try and say that about most clubs, but I'm struggling with that argument for the Rovers at the minute. So we'll move swiftly on to Lee from Around the Grounds. Relatively new YouTube channel, mate, but you're doing very well. You've flown up to 500 subscribers. But yeah, let us know why you've started and what the aims and targets are.
So I was just going to games, just enjoying going to games, and I thought I'd start my YouTube channel, which is obviously Around the Grounds. I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan, but I do try and get to different grounds. Obviously, starting in Yorkshire, I'm going to start moving across the country eventually. But I'm really enjoying it. Taking in different games, seeing different fan bases, meeting amazing people like yourselves.
It's sometimes good to go as a neutral, and when you're under a vested interest in the teams, I think you can enjoy it more.
I agree, and you meet some good people as well. I went to Man City, obviously Premier League. Sat next to a guy, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to Oldham game like the next day," and he come with me. Just meeting people like that, it's brilliant.
But yeah, it's probably a really good connection for you and Ian, because obviously Ian's been doing it for a bit. Might get some decent pointers on travel and what have you.
Well, you've seen some of my stuff, haven't you?
I have, mate. Yeah, obviously learning stuff off of different people, it helps massively. Just pick up little pointers.
There's some very good content creators out there.
Oh, brilliant ones, yeah.
There's some underappreciated content creators. I'll say that.
Very much so.
Some content creators that unfairly have a lot of subscribers, but
there's a guy I don't know if he lives in Scotland. He's probably one of the reasons I started the channel. It's called Footy Adventures. If any of you.
Yes, he's good. He's
amazing.
Good.
He's really good.
He's very good.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of. I think he's got a lot of sponsorship on board now.
Yeah.
And he's started branching out into Europe and things like that.
Yeah.
Sponsors do.
But his stuff on the Scottish leagues is excellent.
Brilliant, aren't they? Yeah, really enjoy watching them.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, sponsors are a big help. And talking about sponsors,
they are, yeah.
Lee, are you playing in the Eves Trust game?
I am, yeah. I'm
Are you
representing.
full-on fundraising, yeah?
Yeah, playing for Liverpool Legends this year. I've done it. I think this is my 4th year. Last 2, Sheffield Wednesday, and then the first one, Donny Rovers. But yeah, I'll be taking part. So looking forward to that one.
So yeah,
Try
keep
and
an
stay
eye
on the
on
pitch
all of
longer
our
than
socials.
Dapper did last year.
Say that
Yeah,
again.
don't break your ankle.
Yeah, don't do what Dapper did last year.
Yeah.
Booted Westy up in the air, didn't I?
The fact that
No,
you
keep
tried
it-
to run it off was the thing that I found funny. Because you knew you were done.
For 45 minutes, I tried to run that off. But no, it's a fantastic day. Keep an eye on our socials for stuff like that. I'm a reserve this year, but I'm still raising money for a great cause. So we've had 6 minutes on introductions and having a quick chat. Let's have a quick look at the chat, see what's coming. George, honestly, give up with this club these days. It's killing me. I think that's to do with Rovers. Yeah, it's bad when a hobby becomes a chore, isn't it? Nat's in the chat. Evening, lads. Good evening, Nat. Ainsley as well, a Rovers fan. Howdy. Best of luck with the channel. Drop a link. Happy to subscribe. So I will put a link to Around the Grounds in the description once we've finished the stream, and there's links to everybody else's in the description as well. So please support these guys because they're fantastic. So let's start in League 2. Here we go. I will briefly talk about Doncaster Rovers. I think stats-wise, you can see we had the better of the game, but with all things said and done, we didn't really trouble Hartlepool at all, which is frustrating because they're 22nd in the table when they came into this. They'd won 2 games away from home. They've now won 6 games in total all season. 2 of those have come against Donny, but it was a sucker punch late on. A swift counter attack. The ball's gone up to Josh O'Meara, who's played a wonderful through ball down the Hartlepool right hand side, and Roshan Williams is tracking back, but just doesn't get tight enough to the player. Allows a shot off, and the first shot on target hits the post, goes into the back of the net, and the 1,000 travelling Hartlepool fans went absolutely mental, and rightfully so. It's one of those where you go away thinking a 0-0 would have been a fair result. I think Hartlepool have robbed 3 points there, but when we're not creative enough or not clinical enough in front of goal, you're not going to win games, and that's we're struggling at the minute. We're struggling defensively. We've got the 4th worst defence in the league, and in the final third, we're not quite good enough either. So disappointing January. I don't know what you guys think who have watched the January transfers. I think it was a poor January. There's a lack of planning for the future, I think, and it seems like we're kind of winding down to potentially a big summer. I don't know if they're going to look for further investment coming onto the board or potentially put the club up for sale, but it just seems like something's coming in the club. I don't know if you guys have been through similar, where it seems to go really quiet and results don't quite go your way and frustrations are off the field. Yeah, it just seems like something.
I think as fans, Dan, we've all been through times like you're going through at the moment. Lack of direction, trouble in the boardroom, fans
we've got a direction,
frustrated.
mate. It's south.
Yeah, I think most clubs go through that in the history.
Yeah,
we certainly did back in the 2007, 2008, when we were getting points deductions here, there, and everywhere. We didn't know who as owners were from one day to the next, and we've come out to it fairly strong. But we were lucky because we had Tony Stewart, who came along, paid all his debts off, built us a new stadium. And not every club's got that. I mean, look at the. I'm just quoting like Bury Macclesfield that went out of existence, and also Scunthorpe and Oldham, what they're going through at the moment.
Yeah. Well, we've had it kind of twice, sadly. For us, we've had it where we got saved by Milan, and then we had the whole kind of situation where we had the point deduction, and we had about 2-3 seasons where we didn't know what we were doing or where we could do, and that basically was what the reason that took us out of the Championship, with the point deductions and lack of, for a better word, lack of the rudder, knowing where we were going.
Yeah.
What about MK, Jonathan? I mean, you're in the grand scheme of things a bit of a fledgling of a club. I think you get quite a bit of stick on Twitter for who MK Dons are and stuff, but ultimately you're an EFL club. Have you gone through similar trials and tribulations, or not yet?
Well, I'd say this season, like off the pitch, it just hasn't clicked. I mean, the summer recruitment was just simply awful compared to what we had from the previous season. We didn't replace our two phenomenal players with any sort of quality, and it just hasn't clicked. As good a coach as Liam Manning was, he just couldn't get a tune out the side. And when that happens, and then it feels like we didn't get investment off the pitch from Pete Winkleman. He's more concentrating on the concerts. There's more advertising for. I think we've got Muse coming to us in the summer, and then we had quite a few concerts last summer. So it just seems like they're concentrating more on the music. But we have had some good news this week where our new training facility, we've just had the planning permission to build a state-of-the-art training facility. Because at the minute we train on a secondary school pitch. So that's progress for me at the minute.
Yeah.
It all takes time. It all takes time, and it all takes resources, finances.
Yeah. Ainsley's saying that Blunt is a useless chairman. The situation won't improve until him and his mate Bramwell are gone. Schofield and Cops have got their hands tied. I've got to agree with that. They can only do so much with what they've got. Club has to be sold, and big investment will be needed to clear out all the deadwood. Squad is simply quantity over quality at the minute. I think we have got some elements of quality.
If you look at Jonathan's thing with all the concerts, Donny doing that at the minute, lots of concerts.
Yeah, I think if we do get sold, I'd like somebody to come in with the same sort of philosophy and ethos, but be willing to put a little bit in, because the self-sustainable model will only work if fans feel like they're getting something back out of the money that they're putting in. And at the minute, they're not. So moving swiftly on anyway. Jonathan, you wanted to talk about Carlisle Harrogate, a team that had no shots on target and won the game 1-0.
Yeah, well, this is probably really weird for me to talk about this, but it's just more the fact that I want to praise Carlisle for the fact how well they've done, apart from yesterday, throughout the season. They beat Barrow 5-1 midweek, absolutely demolished them at home, and you'd think, right, they've beaten their local rivals at home, so the next game, again, would you class it as a derby or a localish rivalry sort of thing? And as you say, they had all the possession. You can see they had quite a bit of possession, and possession was quite even, and the shots on target. And yet Harrogate just did a smash and grab job. So if you're a Harrogate fan, you really enjoy that. And the own goal, I've seen it from one of the special angles that the clubs sort of tweet out the next day, and it really doesn't look pretty at all. I mean,
it's horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really is. So it was just more to praise Carlisle, because I don't think anyone expected them to be competing for the automatics, probably alongside Stevenage, with 2 surprises in the playoffs. And I just think Paul Simpson's not getting the credit he deserves.
I notice Gillingham have picked up of late, getting a few results.
I think that's a good segue, Lee. I'll take that. On to Gillingham. I think Ian, you wanted to talk about Gillingham, but I'll let you start, and Lee add whatever you'd like to after Ian's added.
To be quite honest, I mean, they've invested really heavily in the playing staff in the January transfer window, and it's starting to pay off. They've brought in experience, they've brought in know-how, and I really do think they'll get out of this. I think they will get out of it. I mean, all right, they're still in the bottom 2, but more by luck than judgment. They're on form. Crawley, they're going the opposite direction to Gillingham, in my opinion, because they're in really. I mean, they had a good win the other week, but no consistency. Gillingham are doing really well, and they could even finish mid-table the way they're going at the moment. Do you want to come in on that then, mate?
Yeah, I've just noticed. I'm sure they've not been beat since they've took over. I might be wrong, but I've just noticed. Obviously, they got took over. I think the first game in charge with the FA Cup tie, So I believe that, well, obviously, you take note of clubs that get took over, and I think they've picked up a late. So yeah, I do believe they'll climb the table and get probably mid-table, like you say, Ian.
Yeah.
They've been
Yeah, I
smart
think you're spot
signings
on
as
there.
well. They've been really
Yeah.
smart signings. It's not like they throw money at like just everything. They've actually looked and gone for it. And
Yeah,
you look at Crawley, you don't understand how their model of doing stuff with cryptocurrency is going to help them.
No. I mean, you look at some of these players, like you say, Jake, the recruitment's been superb. Yeah, they've thrown a bit of coin at it, but Dieng, superb player at this level. Hawkins, Nichols, they're all contributing.
Three great signings, though.
Yeah.
It's weird how you got Telford, who last season was up there as one of the top scorers and just can't get it going at Crawley.
Yeah. Bit of a circus there at the minute, though, isn't it?
I think it's just been key for Gillingham to get these results. I think they've obviously beaten Crawley. I think they've beaten Hartlepool. I think they've beaten Colchester. So what they're doing is they're beating the teams around them, which is giving them confidence going forward. So
if they could have hung on last week, it would have been even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Another result down at the bottom of the table, which not many people expected, was Newport against Swindon. And Jake, I think a Wednesday player is out on loan.
Yeah, we got Brennan's there and he's having a good time, and there was talk about him coming back, but it sounds like he's having a really good time playing first team football. He seems to be doing well there, but it's a weird one because you didn't see this one coming because Swindon have been on a really good run at late. They've looked decent. They've looked a little bit better. I think it was a smart signing bringing in Charlie Austin just to try and do some experience. But you look at the stats and it's like Newport have just gone, you know what, we'll go for it. Sorry, why not? And that red card early doors doesn't help Swindon, but
You don't know.
it got that whole thing. It took them until the second half to get anything. So it shows you how resolute they were. But it just makes you wonder if that was just a little bit too much. And yeah, it's a consolation goal at the end, but Newport really went at them. But I don't think that's because the red card. I think they looked like they were on it from the get-go.
Yeah.
And this game worries me because we've got Swindon next Saturday. Obviously, we've got Tranmere on Tuesday night, but that's a rearranged game. So I don't think Swindon are playing midweek. So they've got a full week to recover, prepare, and get back to winning ways. So not looking forward to that one, especially.
Is that at Swindon?
The guy that
yeah,
scored
that's Swindon
Newport's
as well.
winner, isn't it Graham Kavanagh's son?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Lee, is there any League Two team or game that you want to touch upon before we look at the table?
I think Stockport. I've got my eye on going to that one. Maybe next week. I'm sure they're away at Harrogate, so that's one on my list that I maybe possibly going to, because Ian touched on that earlier, that Stockport's fan base are really good, so it's been on my list for quite a bit to get to a game to watch.
Claxon.
It's a good place to go, to be quite honest. The fan base are passionate and knowledgeable, and they're really welcoming and all.
Yeah,
It's a really nice place to go. If you could get to go to a Stockport home game, you know, probably rather than an away game,
yeah.
I think you'd enjoy it more.
The
But
football-
yeah, they're a good
Children's
side, and
game,
I've
yeah.
been saying for weeks, haven't I, Dan, that I expect Stockport
Yeah.
to get in playoffs.
Yeah.
Jonathan, did you say Claxon?
Yeah.
Kyle Royal Claxon, ex-player goal scorer. Cheers for that, Lee. Thanks a lot. Before we look at the table, let's have a quick look at some of the comments that have come in from you guys in the chat. We've got Shelley, MK Don, stay up. Jonathan, you'll be happy with that one.
Thanks, sorry.
George has said Oluwu, Nelson and Long are the best three centre-backs we have. Surely they play when fit to fix this defence. Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think they're a bit more mobile and a bit better on the ball than what Roshan and Tom Anderson are. So, yeah, they've got to be fit, though, to play. We can only play fit players, can't we? Thomas, we haven't recovered since COVID from form-wise. The club feels like it's in cold storage on and off the pitch. I'd agree with that. Lewis, yeah, Oluwu, best centre-half we've got. And then Ainsley, Hurst, Rowe and Brown seem some of the very few players trying to make things happen yesterday. Poor attack force, poor defence. I agree with all the comments. I thought Caelan Lavery and Miller were starting to build a little bit of a partnership. That's going to take time. But yeah, wasn't great.
Claxon.
So onto the table, Rochdale, rock bottom, Gillingham, we've already said that we think that they're going to be moving out of the bottom two. Hartlepool, they looked okay yesterday, but I don't think we're going to pull any trees up. And then we've got Crawley, Harrogate, Newport, Crewe, Colchester, Grimsby, then up to Donny.
And
I don't
Crewe
think
are
really-
going backwards, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, you look there, the teams that came down from League One last season, Gillingham, Crewe, Doncaster and Wimbledon, all in the bottom half of the table.
No one's really settled at all, have they?
It's not great, is it?
If you were to pick a two, who would there be?
Rochdale, Crawley, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jake?
same here.
I've changed my mind. I'm going Rochdale and Crawley.
Rochdale, Crawley. What about you, Jake?
Same.
Jonathan?
Same.
Lee?
I'm going Rochdale Crawley, to be fair.
Crawley settled. Rochdale and Crawley, National League next season. You've heard it here first, guys. Moving up to the top of the table, Leyton Orient still holding on to first place. Stevenage just behind them, 4 points behind them, but 2 games in hand. And like Jonathan says, Carlisle done a superb job up there in third. And playoffs consist of Northampton, Salford, Mansfield, and Stockport. It's anybody's.
The
role,
class of 92 are putting a bit of form together as well, aren't they?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
does anyone actually think Salford could actually get out of it this season? Or do you reckon it could be another flop?
I think they'll flop again.
I think they'll reach the playoffs, but they won't get promoted.
Do you know
Crawley.
Salford's biggest problem? They put too much emphasis on getting out of that league. Too much pressure on it.
You think they're trying too hard?
Yeah, you just watch the documentary. They just pile so much pressure on to get out of that league, and it's a difficult league to get out of.
You don't need that already when you're already seen as the media darling, for a lack of a better word. There's always going to be someone looking at you.
Yeah.
If you want an
It's
example
superb,
of how tough it is to get out of League Two, look at Bradford City.
Yeah.
They've been trying for years to get out. And they get
it's not quite
18,000 every game.
And I don't
Crazy
think there'll be
numbers
media
down at Harrow.
darlings for too much longer. Salford, if Wrexham come up, now that'll be a fight on who gets the bragging rights.
That's no contact. We Wrexham.
Well, no. Playoffs, playoff pictures shaping up. Keep on saying it. We're only, 4 points away from getting into the playoffs? 5 points away. I've never felt further away from the playoffs than what I do now. But a run of form can change that massively. So
Well, any team
moving
that
on.
can put three or four wins together can shoot right back up there.
The problem
Yeah,
is you don't see
definitely.
Johnny doing that, though.
No, not at the minute. We'll move on to the championship. So we've got the loss out of the way. Let's get on to a draw. Ian, Rotherham 0, Sheffield United 0. A very respectable draw against high-flying Sheffield United. Talk us through it.
Well, initially, I would have taken this from the kickoff. I would have just taken a draw. And yes, the Blades had a lot of possession, but they didn't really hurt us. I mean, they had one really good chance in the first half that Johansson saved, but it was just they were trying to. We were set up really well defensively, and they just couldn't get through us. The ball players, like your Burgers and whatnot, and Norwood, they were trying to thread balls through, and we were just sort of clearing it. Going forward, we weren't really at his best yesterday. We had one fantastic chance we had Offin, whose header was saved really well by Fotheringham. But as midfield did the job, they did it tirelessly. I was very impressed with Connor Coventry, Barlas's replacement. He was a bit tigerish in midfield, as was Ollie Rathbone. But my man of the match were Cameron Humphreys, who was, and well, he's normally a fullback, but he was like an emergency centre half, and he was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, a very, very useful point gain, and probably an unexpected one. But I think we're doing something right. We've played Sheffield United, who were second in the league twice, and they've not scored against us in either game. So I'm extremely pleased with the point. And as the other results from yesterday afternoon piled up, it was a very, very useful point. It keeps us 5 points clear of the bottom three now. So, yeah, very happy, man.
Big at this stage of the season, because a couple of weeks ago, I remember you saying the running that you had over this period. And
well, it's last three
not...
games, Dan. We've taken 5 points out of Blackburn, Watford, and Sheffield United.
Yeah, and you said that you were going to get none.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every Miller fan would taken 5 points from them 3 games.
You had a good little window as well, apart from losing Balata. You actually had a good window to bring people in.
Well, yeah, we have. We've signed some good quality players. Hugill, Fosu, Coventry. Yeah. Also, the guy from Watford who's not quite ready yet, that Queener, Domingos Queener. He's not quite ready to step up. And the young lad from Leeds on loan, the fullback, Yelder, he's excellent as well.
Was it Humphries who you said controlled the back four when he came in, or is that somebody else?
Pardon?
Was it Humphries who you said a couple of weeks ago controlled the back four when he came in?
With Grant Hall at the side of him, and Grant Hall's got all the experience. And he had McBurney in his pocket for the entire 95 minutes.
Hugo's a good signing for this lad, for your boys. Yeah. Good. You can get him firing.
He's not very tall, Hugo, but he's deceptively good in the air.
Like a salmon. Well, very respectable point for Rotherham at home to Sheffield United there. Moving on to Jonathan, you want a Millwall against Sunderland. So talk us through this one.
So again, like my League Two pick, it's just to highlight the great job that both these clubs are doing. I don't think anyone expected Millwall and Sunderland to be there or thereabouts in the playoff race. Obviously, Sunderland, I think, are now strikerless with Stewart's injury.
Is he out for the season?
Yeah,
I think so. I think that's what they said. He's out for the season. So,
we play Sunderland soon.
So yeah, it's just a credit to what work Mowbray's done with, again, such a young squad, to go to a place like Millwall where you have to fight, where the crowd's all against you, the atmosphere, and to go there and to get a point. And Sirkin, that was a good, brave header from the free kick as well. Jake Cooper, brilliant centre back, I think, underrated Championship centre back, always gets about 6 to 8 goals a season, and it'd be nice to see one of them in the playoffs. I'm not quite sure if either of them will make it, but if either Millwall or Sunderland could make the playoffs, it would be a nice change from the normal people that would be there, if that makes sense.
It's weird. Premier League. It's weird to see what happened with Sunderland, considering the start they have with all the manager situation, to actually put it behind them. So remember, he had it all where he left, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think in that Jack Clark, the midfielder, is one of the Championship players of the season.
Yeah, I think Patrick Roberts needs a shout out as well, in fairness.
Can he not?
Well, no, decent season for both of those. Like I say, Millwall in the Premier League would be absolute chaos.
Yeah.
Every police down the country were just looking, going, oh no.
We'll jump now onto one of the probably the most entertaining game of the weekend, a 7-goal thriller in Wales. It was Swansea 3, Birmingham 4. We've got a Birmingham fan in the chat, Paul Falwell. He said, "Hello, Dan. How you doing?" "I'm very good. I think the other 4 guys are doing pretty well as well. Don't forget them." But no, a fantastic result for Birmingham here. Just ebbed and flowed, didn't it? Ian, did you want to talk about this one?
Well, I just couldn't see where this one came from. I mean, Birmingham 5 defeats on the bounce, going away to the Liberty Stadium, where Swansea have got quite a good home record, and Swansea looked like they'd wrapped it up at 3-2 up. But you're talking about brave headers. Jukovic's header, where he went in with the boots are flying, just when it was just on 90 minutes. And then their American centre-back pops up with a header in the 97th.
You can just imagine the limbs, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh, limbs there, yeah, especially with Birmingham fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get, like, obviously that's a strange result because I think Birmingham, I'm sure they were protesting at the game.
Yeah, they were, weren't they? A couple of weeks ago.
Also, right, they scored 4 goals, Birmingham, and they only had 28% possession.
Yep.
That's incredible.
It is, yeah.
It's all going a little bit wrong at Swansea as well. Swansea seems a little bit of another club who's looking for owner to go now. They don't seem happy with everything.
No, I know there's a lot of disquiet amongst the fan base there.
Was there an expectation to do quite well this season, though? Are they
I think there
underperforming?
was.
I'm not sure.
I think it was, yeah. I think they were definitely looking at getting the playoffs at least.
Yeah. So that could cause the unrest. It's a bit like a Donny coming out and saying that promotion's the target and then massively underachieving. It puts people's backs up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But no, great result for Birmingham there. Lee, any championship games that you want to look at? I'm
just going to have a little mention of Cardiff. My mate's a big Cardiff fan, and he's really worried he thinks they're done this year, which I can't not agree with him. To be fair, I've seen him a couple of times.
Must be something in water at Sheffield, because Jake, you wanted to talk about this one as well.
Yeah.
So Jake, you start us off, mate. Talk us through this one, and then Lee drop in after you.
Yeah, it was a good game. Hull are playing some really good stuff. They're starting to look like a team that might know what they're doing. I think next season will be the key. They'll be able to put feet on the table. I don't think they'll bend as much as they did this season because they've had a bit of a transfer thing. The thing is here, we saw at Wednesday that if you get someone like McGuinness at the back and you play a good defence, he can defend well, he can marshal it. He's only like 21, which is ridiculous for his age. He looks like he's been playing for years. If you've got players there who've done really well on loan, who then come back and can't seem to figure it out and help you out, there's a problem there. And Cardiff look like they're a team who are in trouble, like really serious trouble. It's not been great with their whole situation with the EFL and FIFA, with their embargo. But credit to Hull, they've beaten a team who's around them and got out of it. What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, I agree with all. I think they're going in the right direction. Top marks from obviously appointment of Rossini. I think he's an upcoming manager. He's good.
Did well at Derby.
Yeah, I agree, mate. He's going to be good. He's good potential manager. I think he's going to move them forward. Cardiff, on the other hand, I've seen them twice this year both away at Huddersfield. They were absolutely atrocious. And then Wigan, they were just a different side. But my mate, he just thinks they're doomed. He thinks they're going to swap places with Wednesdays.
Look, it's bad when Lamucci comes into a press conference and goes, "We're shit. We're really in trouble."
Yeah,
he's not been there long.
Yeah, it's a strange appointment, that one as well for me. I'd have thought they'd have gone for someone that knows how to get out of it.
He nearly got
somebody with a bit of experience.
Yeah,
because the championship's unforgiving. Once you start losing in the championship, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Got somebody in the chat who was at the MKM yesterday. Like Donny, we dominated, almost went down to a penalty. Eventually, we came good. So, yeah, it looks like it similar, like dominating the ball, dominating the attacks, but not quite being able to break a team down. Could have gone either way, but went the right way for Hull.
And what about that for a finish from a defender, Cyrus Christie? It was a hell of a finish as well.
A hit and a half.
Yeah.
Thomas Riley in the chat as well. Ruddy had a howler for the third. Played a high line. Chong just ran past to make it 2-2. Swansea were their own worst enemy in that one. So that's covering the game that we went to just before the Hull game. So Swansea basically shooting themselves in the foot by the sounds of it in that one.
That was a Russell Martin tactic. I know that from MK Dons. We used to play a high line and like playing from the goalkeeper, and it happened every single time. And it takes a lot of patience as a fan to try and accept that style of play, and you've just got to try and stick with it, because in the end it will come good. But I don't know.
But when it goes wrong, it looks horrible, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
definitely.
I mean,
we're trying
I
to
think
play
there were one with the Norwich game where Tim Krul did something similar.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it's still
But
in
it
the
looks
Premier League.
appalling, doesn't it?
Yeah. Just problem is, teams like, I mean, I'll talk from a Rovers perspective. We try to play it out from the back, and we've just not got the players to be comfortable on the ball. And like you say,
Last season, we couldn't do it. We couldn't
Yeah.
play out from the back. You had heart attack moments.
Mm.
This season, right at the start, Stockdale was really slow with it, but Dawson's come in and he looks like he got confident with the ball. It's weird. We play it out from the back and we actually look you don't worry anymore when
Yeah.
you get it to a player. And it's odd because start of the season, every time Stockdale had it, you thought he'd give it to someone else.
Mm.
yeah, it's about having that right mix of players who can do it, isn't it?
Mm.
So onto the table, looking down towards the bottom, Wigan, Blackpool, Huddersfield, Cardiff, Rotherham. I think Rotherham have got enough to stay out of it, mate. I really do.
I hope you're right. I'll still reserve judgment, but next Saturday's going to be absolutely vital. We've got
Yeah.
Blackpool away.
Oh,
You should get 3 points there.
Isn't it?
Well, Blackpool don't look confident at all, do they?
No, they got.
Huddersfield could get out of it.
Yeah, they could. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of games in hand over Cardiff, haven't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
But I think what you say, Lee, Cardiff, they look
Yeah.
doomed, don't they?
Yeah, I agree. I think Blackpool, with McCarthy, that's the only bonus from him. He does know how that league.
Yeah.
Whereas
He does, but he's going to have to start doing something
he
PDQ.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So same question as what Lee asked in League 2. Jonathan, starting with you. Name the 3 that you think will be the bottom 3 come the end of the season.
Wigan, Huddersfield, and Cardiff.
There we go, Lee.
I'm going Wigan, Cardiff, and Birmingham.
Oh,
Birmingham down from 18th.
Yeah.
Well, my 3 are Wigan, Blackpool, and Cardiff.
Jake?
Mine, Wigan, Blackpool, Cardiff, but if Cardiff go on a run, Stoke could be in that.
Yeah, Stoke aren't out of it, are they? I think for me, I'd probably go Wigan, Blackpool, Cardiff. I think Huddersfield will sneak out of it. They've got the 2 games in hand. I think Rotherham have got enough to stay out of it for sure. Looking at Swansea, I know we touched on Swansea a little earlier. This could be why fans are getting a little bit on edge. It's that mid-table, but it's such a tight division, isn't it? Anybody can beat anybody. We've said it many times. Up to 3rd place, it's so tight.
I don't think you'll get a league anywhere in World Light Championship.
No.
it's like every season.
It's
Yeah.
mental.
I mean, Burnley are going to be champions. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind about that at all.
Yeah.
The Blades will go up in 2nd place because they've, all right, they stuttered yesterday, but they've got the quality.
Yeah.
They've got the quality in abundance. Borough are really doing well.
Yeah.
Carrick
10,
is
14,
is doing a damn good job there.
Yeah.
And I can see it continuing.
I kind of want Luton to go up and Southampton to go down.
Yeah.
I don't think that will be a perfect storyline.
Yeah. And look at Baggies from where they were.
Yeah, they were relegation in November, I think it was.
Yeah.
They've just come on leaps and bounds and in the playoffs now. So,
And
I think
Blackburn's had a massive drop.
Yeah, they are.
We're up there.
I'm not sure who else would break into that top 6, to be honest. Possibly Millwall. I mean, it's tight. Like we say, anybody goes on a run and they're in there. But
I mean, Watford are
it's a
inconsistent.
strong division, isn't it?
Watford are very inconsistent at the moment.
Yeah, they could drop out
So
of it.
if anyone's out of the current 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th that could drop out of it, it possibly could be Watford.
Yeah.
Would anybody disagree with that, or do you think?
No, I
it's,
think Norwich will be. They've picked up with obviously Falk. Is it Falk or whatever his name is? Huddersfield manager.
Yeah.
I think they'll. they'll get there or thereabouts top 6. But I mean, you look down even to all 40 points. Anyone puts a run up, they'll get in the top 6.
Yeah, everybody's got a chance there.
Yeah.
It happens every season. Then you get one team that goes on a run, and it surprises you.
I mean, look
Yeah.
at Forest last year,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah, Forest came from nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There's
there's still
hope-
plenty of the season left, isn't
There's
there?
hope for
16.
you, Ian, yet, like.
Only on 32 points here. Good run, you never know.
It'd take a miracle.
Change it.
So that's League 2 and Championship covered. Let's get on to League 1. We're very heavy weighted on League 1. 2 Wednesday fans and an MK fan on the stream today. We're going to start with MK Dons. Great result of Bristol Rovers, but I think the best place to start would be that tweet at 5-3. Talk us through that one.
Well, we were told on Monday that tickets would be on sale at the ground on match day, and we thought nothing of it. And then at 5:30 Friday night, MK Dons tweeted out that the tickets wouldn't be on sale, and Bristol Rovers had refused his tickets. Now, Bristol Rovers came out with I don't know if you saw the thread of their tweet late that night, basically saying we'd asked for 24 extra tickets. And I'm thinking that's a bit of an odd number to ask for, 24 extra tickets, because we'd sold out our allocation of 300. Now, we're not the best supported club. I'll admit that now. We don't take a huge following away, but I can't see us asking for another 24 tickets if that is true. Then
Like you say, it's an odd number, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is an odd number to come out with. So it gets to just before kickoff, and Bristol Rovers tweet, there's going to be a delay in the kickoff due to the amount of away fans turning up, and then, oh, wait, no normal kickoff time. 2 minutes later, into the game, they concede a penalty, and they're 1-0 down. And you think, if you hadn't have written that tweet, that is karma coming back to bite you. If Joey Barton and you'd seen that tweet, I don't think he would have. I don't think the Rovers admin would have had a job.
No.
But in fairness, it was a penalty. Joey Barton didn't really disagree with it after the game, even though he said the referee had a bad game. Surprise, surprise. Mo scored his penalty, 50th appearance for the club. Really needed that after he didn't have his shooting boots on the previous week against Exeter, and we actually competed really well, which you need to against Bristol Rovers. We were committed in the challenges, and we were riling up the home fans. Joey Barton says we were time wasting from 5 minutes in. Don't think we were, and we were just really physical, which is something we've been missing. And Bristol Rovers rarely threatened. Collins was very quiet. Coburn was very quiet. And then they piled everyone forward in the last few minutes and set up a 2-on-1 counter-attack for us. And Mo squared it to young Max Dean. Signed him from Leeds. Came with Mark Jackson. And he's got his first professional goal. And, really good 2-0 win. Interesting about Max Dean, he actually rang Jackson up when he was first appointed at MK Dons and said, "My contract's up in the summer. I want to move to MK Dons." So for a player to actually ring a manager up and say, "I want to come with you," is pretty.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
Only 18 as well. They got him from Everton, and he was scoring freely for the under-23s. So it's good win. It's our third away win out of 5. Only Sheffield Wednesday have got a better form away from home, and it's certainly if we can get this home form sorted, which is absolutely diabolical, I think we'll be fine.
So what you're saying, Jonathan, is you want to play the remainder of your games away from home?
Yes, please.
Well, no, fantastic result.
That Bristol Rovers stunt, it's Sunday League, that.
Yeah.
I mean, just what are they playing at?
You know it'll be on Joey.
You wouldn't
Clark.
expect that in non-league football, would you?
No, it's mental.
Uh,
It's a bit of shithousery, isn't it? That's massively backfired, I think.
Yep.
yeah.
Well, no, great result for MK. Pulled you a little bit out of danger, but we'll have a look at the table to see a little bit closer once we've gone through a few more games in League One. I'm a little bit concerned because we've not seen ATID comment in the chat. If anybody knows if he's all right, please let us know.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. Yeah.
He's normally in every week and he's not turned up today.
I know, yeah.
I don't know if he's
You
deliberately
want to
just.
start this one, Lee?
No, I'll let you go first, mate. You're the expert in this lives.
Oh,
Well-
behave, Lee. None of us are experts.
No, we're
just
not.
fans.
That's been very kind. This was a game we needed to get all 3 points. We needed to put the pressure on. And this is the kind of game I went into this nervous as hell. Because this is the kind of game last season we would have lost because the team would have gone, oh, it's Plymouth, we need to win this. The amount of time last season we would have lost these games when we needed to win was stupid. But you can't keep Callum Patterson down at the minute. He had all the contract talks, all the things going to Hearts, and he absolutely loved that goal. And also played as a right wing back and did a superb job. He looked like he's not played that position in such a long time, but it worked. And the best thing about the first half, we were just really all attacking, going for it. Plymouth didn't look at the races in the first half. They looked like the team. They just didn't like they travelled well. Second half, he brings Hardy and Cosgrove on. Changed it. They went down a lot, bought a lot of free kicks. But also what changed it in the first half as well, Cooper went down injured for them. Good keeper in this league. But they lose Gar as well. And Gar and Cooper, you lose your two best players at the back, you're going to have issues for the rest of the game. But the first half, we felt like we were a lot better and confident. Second half, they woke up. They brought on Cosgrove, they brought on Hardy. They did the job that was needed, which was get cheap free kicks around the box or get it when going forward. And they were playing some good football. Now, the controversial thing in this game, we went 2-0 up.
He was offside.
The goal stood for all of 43 seconds. And then the linesman and the referee looked at our replay and went, oh, look, it's offside. When Gregory actually doesn't go nowhere near the ball.
He jumped over it.
No, he's not even over it. He doesn't jump over it. There's another footage that shows behind the
Yeah,
goal.
Right, yeah.
Celebrate.
There's a YouTuber there. If you watch it, he's nowhere near the keeper's eye line.
No.
Yeah, we're a strange one, that.
See, I'm a neutral, and I think you're offside and impacting the keeper's vision.
I think that's a daft rule anyway.
One thing we got, we bring in Aidan Flint in on loan in transfer market as our transfer, and it looks like we've spent all the money on VAR in League One for it to hamper ourselves. But it's been a long time since that ground has sounded like that, and everyone working together for a common goal.
Yeah.
Whatever Darren Moore's done over the last 2 seasons, people still Wednesday fans who don't want him in the club. I don't get why. But he's doing a really good job, and it just shows you where the level is at these players now. Like the mentality shifted, hasn't it? Like,
yeah, I think Darren Moore has got to have huge praise. He's learned from last year's mistakes. He's brought in players like Volks. They're just scrappy players. They do the nasty stuff. Yesterday we played like a champions. We did what we needed to do. Didn't let them do what they enjoy doing and good at.
Well, you do know half your squad learnt how to play football as our gaff, don't you?
That's it, mate. Yeah.
Should we be thanking Rotherham claiming championship in League One? They get it enough from you in between two, don't you, Ian? Well, no.
But from word get go yesterday, praise to the middle three. They just hounded them, got in their faces. Just watching players like Volks, Patterson, they were just little niggles off the ball. It just wound them up, and I love stuff like that because that's what we've been missing.
Yeah.
And other teams used to come to Hillsborough and do that to us, and it was frustrating. Now we've learned to do that.
Patterson throughout that game was a shit house.
Yeah,
He was constantly
little
in the
niggles.
players' faces though, and saying something. And the amount of time he smiled at Darren Moore as he was running past, and Darren would just give him the thumbs up, knowing, yeah, I know what you've done. That's what I want you to do. To keep it up.
Yeah.
I think
The
mentality and
problem
winning
we've got-
that mental battle is massive in football now,
Yeah.
as well as a physical battle. I think you've got to get in head sometimes, especially games of this magnitude where it is literally the finest of margins, because I think both teams will go up automatic.
Yeah.
I thought Plymouth
Yeah,
would
I do
tail
as well.
off, but they've just not. They've not done what they normally do season on season or in more recent years. So I do think that these two are going to be
The only way I
championship
can
teams next
see
year.
it not going right is if these two injuries are long term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
If these injuries
Cooper
are long-term,
especially.
Yeah. He saves them
He's
out
been
a lot of points.
exceptional this season. He's been the best keeper in the league, without a doubt.
Oh, 100%.
Can I just special mention to their away fans? I know I thought they were.
Oh, yeah.
brilliant.
3,700.
Yeah,
down.
they were
Oh,
noisy, brilliant.
Yeah.
It's all that set atmosphere, doesn't it?
Does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee, on your vlog, first goal goes in. Did that guy jump on you, or did he jump past you? Because he just
No.
looked
So
Who
basically,
on
I'm front row there, and I've moved forward, and he just absolutely leapt
He went,
forward.
did
Thing is, I felt sorry for him second goal because he did it again. Obviously, getting away from something, he just bit of egg on his face, and luckily we won still. But there was a guy behind me lit a pyro up, so he must have felt even worse.
bloody hell.
Yeah, I had one of the Argyle lot who I know turning and said how embarrassing lighting pyros off an offside goal. And I said, you do realise that offside goal was 43 seconds in the making before they gave it.
That's incredible. That.
Thing is, I'm there vlogging it. I'm thinking this is good for the vlog. This is good, and then he's give offside. I'm like, you're killing me.
Hey, it's all content, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, a little tip for Sheffield Wednesday: do not yet show your replay
Yeah.
well after the goal.
But
Wait
now
until
I
it's
want
kicked
the
off
ball
again.
kicked off and it's already game playing.
Yeah.
That said, there's something special happening at Wednesday. I think we can all agree with that. We can
100%.
see it even from the outside looking in that.
To be honest,
Something is happening.
if and when Wednesday do go up, I don't think the championship will be a problem for them.
No.
Yeah.
I don't, no, I don't. Honestly, I think they'll survive comfortably in the championship with the squad they've got now. Even
I think there's one or two that may need to be looked at, but Darren Moore got a wealth of knowledge and contacts in Premier League. We've shown that already. And he's not scared to just get one player in like he did this transfer window and go, that's it. I'm not getting a player for the sake of it. Yeah, we need it for squad depth, but it would have been nice, Wendy, if you put a tweet out saying we're not doing any more business, because doing a 4-hour live stream on Tuesday waiting for to sign someone felt really long.
That's why they didn't put a tweet out, Jake. They knew you were doing that 4-hour stream.
Darren Moore's
pretty
got it
much.
only with
I think what he's done not bringing he obviously brought Flint in. I think it can just upset the apple cart. I just look at Ipswich. They've overloaded it for me. They didn't really need it.
He
by
said though he wasn't going to bring a player in for the sake of it. It's got to be right for the club. And I'd
Yeah.
rather a manager say that and say I want it to be right than just anybody.
Yeah.
spot on.
Yeah.
So yeah, cracking result for Wednesday. Plymouth, they'll feel a bit frustrated that they've not got something in a crunch game, but Ipswich lost points at Cambridge, so it's not all bad. But Ian, you wanted to talk Fleetwood against Burton, if I can find them there.
well, I mean, they're proving me wrong, to be honest, Burton Albion, because I thought a couple of weeks ago they were dead and buried because they were losing heavily. But to a comeback in this game from having conceded an equaliser in the 94th minute to come back and win it is incredible. End-to-end game, as you always get at Fleetwood. It's just a fantastic win for them, and it takes them out the bottom four. So, and they've got winnable games coming up. So I really did think that Burton were dead and buried, but they are definitely proving me wrong.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But this game, it almost seems to liven up on 58th minute, and then from there, it's just absolute chaos, isn't it?
It went mental, didn't it? There was nothing happening in the first half at all.
I will say something. Fleetwood have picked up a lot of red cards this year.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
But that doesn't
Probably the
surprise
Scott
me
Brown
much, does it?
effect.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't surprise you, Scott Brown.
Yeah.
Good news on Fleetwood though. Nappers is seemingly on the mend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant news,
Doing
that.
a lot of stuff. We sent us love out to him a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week?
Yeah, he posted earlier actually saying how his knee's still sore, but he's feeling more like himself now.
Yeah, but
up and
is he
down a
still
little
in
bit,
hospital?
I think he's at
I think
home now.
so.
Oh, good.
But I've seen bits where he's saying that he's feeling better and then he's dipping a little bit, but seems like he's on the mend compared to what he was last week or the week before. So keep on fighting, Nappers. You'll be back on the terraces sooner than you think.
Yeah.
Nat is saying I think Derby might get second. I
Ooh.
think we'll jump onto them now. Actually, a cracking win, 5-0 against Morecambe. David McGoldrick hat-trick.
One of the season.
Yeah. Hadn't scored a hat trick in his professional career up until this season. Has now scored 3 in one season.
I think that's what Ian would call the Paul Warner
I mean,
effect.
this was always, if Morecambe defended well up until the 45th minute, and then the floodgates opened.
Collapsed.
Yeah, we're a collapse. I mean, they conceded just before and then just after half time, which is never a good thing. And then, of course, when Derby smell blood, that's it. They're gonna go for it, and they've got a really strong squad there. And I think our former manager might get his 3rd League One promotion.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get automatics like 1 or 2 people have actually tipped him to. I don't think so. I think they'll get in the playoffs, and I think they'll win the playoffs.
As long as we get a result last game of the season, I'm not bothered. I'm sick of playing Derby last game of the season.
Oh, you'll be up by then, Jake.
The last one that I wanted to look at was Accrington. We seem to always praise Accrington as a League One club. They're one of them teams where you know what you get with them. It's going to be a difficult game, but it's not happening for them this season, is it? They've slipped further and further down. They're now well and truly within the bottom 4. But yeah, three second half minutes kind of put the game to bed, didn't it? With Rowan scoring on the 55th minute and then Perrick getting sent off on the 56th, and then from that resulting free kick, Bishop dispatching it and 3-0 game over, and it put Accrington in a bit of a
Jake will be happy with that result.
Yeah.
Accrington are in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, because they're not just losing, they're getting stuffed. Also, another red card.
Yeah.
So,
but Lincoln were starting to get into a little bit of trouble themselves, but this will have helped no end.
Yeah, it's just eased the pressure on them a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the stats at Lincoln, 21 shots.
Yeah, 11 on target.
Who were the home team there? Wow.
Yeah,
it's interesting what Accrington Stanley do next, because would they go make a manager change, or would Coleman go, I'm done now, because he's been there so long?
You can't imagine Accrington without Coleman, though, can you?
But you can't imagine League One without Accrington Stanley either.
No.
It's going to be a shame if they do go down. Mainly because
nice
we'll
club.
Have to play them, and they're a bit of a bogey team for us. Any more League One fixtures that we want to talk on before we have a look at the table and round it off?
Oxford are in trouble.
Where are you looking there?
Yeah, I don't think
they're doing very well.
Shrewsbury are on a massive run. I reckon they could sneak playoffs at the rate they're going. They're just playing some really good football. But Oxford at the minute, they seem to have had that game against Ipswich, get the win, and it's just gone. Whatever happened since then, Robinson's dangling. And
we said that, didn't we?
Yeah. it's one of those ones where you're looking at this, you're thinking, where did they go next? Because last season they were near playoffs and doing well. So where has it gone wrong this season?
I'll tell you what's
And
happened,
also-
Jake, since the Ipswich game. The fog's lifted.
Yeah.
And also sending Matty Taylor to Port Vale. That was
Yeah.
really strange, that.
Yeah, he's probably one of their biggest goal threats, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Really
I'm
weird
looking-
transfer.
Shrewsbury are one of the most organised, disciplined sides I've seen live for quite some time. They might not be everyone's cup of tea, but give them a chance and they'll bury it. And in Jordan Shipley and Tom Bayliss, they've got two phenomenal midfielders. So the job that they're doing at Shrewsbury is just brilliant.
Cottrell's doing a really good job there.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I also think for us, I was always gutted that Dunkley never really got a proper the crack of it, but he's showing him why he's a good defender at Shrewsbury because they love him there. They absolutely love him there because he just go for everything.
He's one of the defenders you want, isn't he? He's one of them that will run through a wall for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what you need at a lower league level. Just some good hard defenders, probably one in midfield who's willing to put a tackle in, and a couple of creative lads around him. But yeah. Shrewsbury doing well. Oxford not so much. So onto the table before we round off, because we just ticked over the hour mark. So Forest Green, we've said numerous times that we think that they're gone. I'd agree with that. I think we're still in agreement with Forest Green being gone.
Yeah.
Remaining in the bottom four, Accrington, Cambridge, Morecambe, with Burton, MK Dons, Cheltenham and Fleetwood just outside of that, and that win for Lincoln over Accrington has just eased the pressure a little bit, hasn't it?
It's still incredibly tight, isn't it, from Fleetwood downwards?
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Fleetwood to Accrington, there's only, 4 points. So anything can still happen.
I think this is probably the toughest one out of the three divisions for us to choose our bottom four. We'll go top
Yeah,
to bottom. So
I think the only one we can guarantee is Forest Green.
Yeah, I think Forest Green, Accrington, Morecambe and Cheltenham for me. What about you, Jake?
Forest Green, Accrington, Burton, and Morecambe.
There we go, Ian.
Well, Forest Green, definitely. Much as it pains me to say Accrington, Cambridge and Morecambe. I think the bottom four is now will probably go down.
Fair play. Lee?
Forest Green, Cambridge, Morecambe and Burton I'm going for.
Think Accrington will turn it around?
Yeah.
There we go. And
I hope
finally,
they
Jonathan,
do, actually.
Yeah, I do. Cracking little ground and all.
Cracking little club as well.
Yeah.
Jonathan, your bottom four, mate?
Forest Green, Cambridge, Cheltenham, and I think it's going to go down to the last day. And I think Morecambe.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go down to the last day.
There we
Good
go.
do.
Any Stanley fans in, you'll like Lee and Jonathan because they've got you avoiding the drop. Moving on to the top of the table. So this is where Jake and Lee are very happy because Sheff Wednesday finally top of the tree with that win over Plymouth. Still got a game in hand, which is massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's the game in hand, Jake?
It's a Cheltenham, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had
right,
the game called off. We got to do this FA Cup thing this week, which I don't really want to do, and I really don't want to play Fleetwood again. Sick of playing Fleetwood this year, and if I hear that goal music, I'm going to be really annoyed.
I think because he sees who's next round as well, Burnley or Ipswich. I don't think he's going to be playing many.
I can't see it. Can you?
No.
No. Yeah,
I
it's
mean, the
not.
only saving grace is Ipswich have got to go and play their game versus Burnley, and we
Yeah.
play them on Saturday, and that helps us.
Yeah. I'd snap your hand off at a draw at Ipswich now, to be fair.
Yeah, I said on here I'd take 4 points
Yeah.
out of the.
You've got 3 of them already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can we be greedy and have all 6 then?
Yeah.
But you say about the FA Cup and the next round being Burnley or Ipswich. Is that not a chance to progress? I mean, if you win,
Quarterfinals, if you get through those.
it's a lot of money, isn't it?
It's a weird one for me because I go on the money side and I say it's really good, and I don't want this unbeaten run we've got going to go. But in terms of the league, I don't want any more games that are going to cause us to then have another game played. Like in March, we've already got 6 games, and then you think about where you're going to play these games. And if it goes Saturday, Tuesday, our squad isn't the best in terms of back 3 injuries. You worry when a player goes down at a minute because you're thinking we're going to play there. For me, personally, I'd rather just get out and just concentrate on the league. But the money.
What about, Jake? What about a potential quarter-final FA Cup tie with Blades?
God, no.
Oh,
I don't know. Lee looked, that perked his interest a bit, I think.
It did. I think the last 4 to come out of the hat, I'm sure Man United were one of them, and I were hopeful, but yeah, Sheffield United be a nice tie.
Bit tasty.
At Hillsborough.
Oh, don't Ian.
No.
But it's one of those where sometimes an FA Cup run can positively impact your league form.
Yeah.
I mean,
It keeps the momentum going.
Yeah. But we've got to get out of this league this year. Got to.
Yeah.
I mean, that said, it'll be interesting to see our
You
reaction when we do lose a game.
Yeah, it's similar to what I said when Plymouth lost their first game at home. It'll be interesting to see what the reaction is, but I got a lot of faith in Darren Moore to go, it's a loss. It was going to come one day or another and just get on with it. Last season, whenever it came to it, we would literally have it where you see players looking a little bit mentally fragile. This season, you don't see that. If something doesn't happen right, they just dust themselves down and goes again.
Definitely would be a cracker of a game. I think that rounds this episode of the 72 review off pretty well. To say we had a full house, I think we dealt with that pretty well. Thank you all for your expertise on your clubs and the lower leagues. Any final words? We'll go around the table again. Jake?
Just enjoy yourself, keep yourself safe, and remember, football will sometimes break your heart and sometimes it'll make you really happy. Don't let it affect your complete mood.
Football
I'd
dominates
echo
my
them
mood,
comments.
and I'm always fuming.
Definitely echo them comments, Jake, because we've all been where you are, Dan.
Yeah.
We know what it's like to struggle.
Stop patronising, Ian. Let's just round it off, mate.
I was trying to be sympathetic there.
I couldn't find your notes from last season's therapy sessions. I think I threw them away. I thought you weren't needing them.
I thought we got over ill, but obviously not. Success will come once again. Lee, any final words before we round it off, mate?
But just appreciate you letting me on the live. I've enjoyed it. First one, bit nervous at start, but I've enjoyed it.
No to be nervous about, mate. We're just a load of lads talking football, that's all.
Yeah, there's nothing better, mate.
Best thing in the world.
Jonathan, any final words before we finish off, mate?
Yeah, just thank you for letting me come on again. I know it's been a while since I've last been on. I've greatly appreciated it, and I hope you haven't got a holiday coming up in Ipswich soon, because I think you've probably upset all the Ipswich fans down by saying they're not going to get promoted.
No, I've not got a holiday booked there, thankfully. But no, that rounds this episode off. All that's left for me to say is please head over to all of these guys' channels or socials. They will be linked in the description down below. If you're watching this during the week, please pop comments in and I will try to get back to them. If you've not subscribed to me yet, please go ahead and do so. Like this video, comment, subscribe to everybody. Jake, you've got a song to play us out with.
I do indeed.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you.
I thought it was going to be Chip Butty song.
Well, I could have hit this, but I think we've all been annoyed at this.
Why have you got that?
That's it. We're done. See ya.